Welcome to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support while you go through the divorce process. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Welcome to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce Podcast. I hope you're having a great day. We can all use great days, especially if you're going through the divorce process. And today we're going to try to stack on top of good days and talk about self-care during this challenging time that you're going through. So the first real part is just the awareness of the importance of self-care, as divorce itself is draining. It's draining, stressful, emotional. You go through all sorts of those. And importantly, you really want to prioritize self-care just as much as anything else during this time to manage stress, increase your well-being, and so you can make good decisions and choices. Now, when it comes to the types of self-care that you can do, there's lots of things. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be as simple as going out with friends or meeting up with family to talk about things. Exercise if you're into that. Mindfulness if you find that works for you. It is really, though, important to find what works best for you and make it a regular part of your day so that you have a go-to so that you can continue to relieve those tensions. When we look at the different varieties, spending time with loved ones and friends, that's a great way to just vocally talk about what's going on in your life and where your status is, and also get support. Lean on the support network that you have. This is the time. This is what they're here for, and they will be happy to help. Exercise, physical activity is a fantastic way to manage stress. It really is. Anxiety, it's a way to get the anxiety out of your system. And so you can do it through a multitude of ways. Very simply, just a walk around the block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, outdoor in nature, forest preserve trails, down by a river, whatever's local to you kind of thing. And there's also just plain and simple lifting weights at the gym or running, whether it's a treadmill or outside. When we move over into the other piece of taking care of yourself, we're looking at like the mindfulness, the yoga, the meditation, deep breathing helps calm the mind so that it's not always bouncing around. It's not always swirling with thoughts. Clearing out the clutter will allow you to really make better choices and see things more clearly that perhaps you were missing before. So you can stay focused on the moment in the present, whether it's with your family or it's work or it's through the divorce. So self-care, I still think it's pretty important that you work it in as much as you can. I know some things will get in the way from time to time. It's also important to find what works best for you and really just keep at it. You will thank yourself later, I'm sure of it. Now, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help. My contact information is in the podcast details. And remember that divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care, and we will see you on the next podcast. Hi, I'm Mike Fulkerson, and I'm the host of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce Podcast. I want to thank you for joining me today. And we will be discussing child custody agreements when getting divorced. Divorce can be a difficult process for everyone involved. We all know this. But when children get involved, the stakes are even higher. It's much more challenging. And deciding on a child custody agreement can be one of the most emotionally charged and complex aspects of divorce. Now, let's start by explaining what types of child custody agreements are available for the divorcing parents. When it comes to child custody agreements, There are two main types. There's the physical custody and legal custody. Physical custody refers to where the child will live and with whom they'll spend their time with. Legal custody now refers to the right to make important decisions on behalf of the child, such as things related to education, healthcare, religion. These are very important topics. And so if you want to say, you have to make sure that you have that in the agreement. There are several types of physical custody arrangements, though, not just one. Sole physical custody means that the child lives with one parent the majority of the time, and the other parent has visitation rights. Joint custody means that the child lives with both parents for significant periods of time. In some cases, parents may choose a hybrid arrangement, such as a 60-40 split, where one parent has slightly more time with the child than the other. This arrangement is usually between the parents. You have control over this aspect. As long as it's fair and reasonable, you can work it out between the two of you. Now, there are many factors to consider when determining which type of physical custody arrangement is best for the child. And the main consideration is always in the best interest of the kid. This means taking into account a variety of factors such as the child's age, needs, parents' work schedules. I mean, we do have to go to work. The child's school, location of the school, extracurricular activities the child may be in, and the child's relationship with each parent. The court may also consider any history of abuse or neglect by either parent. Once again, the child comes first in the court system, always. So you always want to look at it from the angle of what's best for the child. Now let's look at legal custody. Legal custody can be either sole or joint, just like physical custody. If a parent is granted sole legal custody, they have the right to make all major decisions on behalf of the child without any input from the other parent. If both parents are joint legal custody, then they will need to work together to make decisions regarding the child's upbringing. Now, other things to keep in mind when negotiating a child custody agreement. First, it's important for parents to try to keep the child's best interest in mind at all times. I think we've said that a number of times today, but it is very important, and you do want to keep that in mind. This means you got to put aside personal animosity towards each other and just focus on what's important for the child. Second, parents should be prepared to be flexible and work together to adjust the custody arrangement if necessary. Finally, it's important to work with an experienced law attorney. And this attorney will be able to help guide the parents through the process and ensure that their rights and the rights of their child are protected. So a lawyer is a very valuable piece of this process. So wrapping up here, child custody agreements can be emotionally charged and difficult to navigate. It's important for parents to remember that they are ultimately working towards the same goal, the best possible outcome for their child. By keeping this in mind and working together to find a solution, parents can ensure that their child's needs are met and that they can move forward. I want to thank you for joining me on the podcast today. I hope you join me on the next one. And remember that divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Welcome to the Breaking Ties Destination Divorce Podcast. For those of you going through the divorce process, I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, and today we're going to talk about the benefits of hiring an accountant when going through a divorce. Divorce is tough on everyone. Nobody escapes how challenging it can be usually. And there are rare cases that it goes pretty smoothly. But for the most part, it is essential to have the right support to ensure that the process does go according to plan. And hiring an accountant can be a smart move. First step, of course, is finding an accountant who actually does work in the divorce-related space because financial issues getting divorced are not the same as just filing your taxes on any given year. And not all accountants are the same. And so some have expertise in different areas, and it's important to find the person who fits what you're looking for. You're going to want to interview at least one or two accountants and kind of get an idea of what they're like. Do you feel like they could help you? Can they teach you? Can you learn from them? So once you've decided on an accountant, then you're going to have to provide them with financial information. So you're going to have a lot of this already. Perhaps you did the financial affidavit already. And so they'll be able to utilize that information from you. And it's not going to take you long probably to put it together. And it does include all the documents you're going to need for property division, for retirement accounts, for the house, everything. Tax returns, even real estate documents. That's all part of the game whenever you're looking at financials. You're going to want to be open and honest with your accountant, not hiding things, not sharing things. And so the more information you can provide, the better they can help you. So speaking of help, how can they help you? Well, when going through a divorce, there are many financial aspects to consider. And an accountant can help by providing guidance and support and just information and teaching you. They can assist in understanding the assets and the debts that are part of the marriage, valuing assets, and helping to create a plan for moving forward into the future. For example, an accountant can assist in the division of assets. When a couple gets divorced, they need to divide their assets and liabilities equitably. The court looks at fair, not equal. So equitably doesn't necessarily mean it's a division 50-50 right down the middle. And an accountant can help in determining what is considered marital property and what is not. And then also the tax implications on dividing certain assets, because assets could have some tax ramifications, and it's going to be important for you to understand those before you find out from the IRS. Now, we're going to want to avoid mistakes. People sometimes make them. Hopefully, you don't have those kind of mistakes. But, one is not understanding the actual tax implications of dividing certain assets. Retirement accounts come to mind. If you take money out, there could be taxes. Usually not a penalty in a divorce setup, but definitely could be taxes if taxes have never been paid on it. And another one is considering, long-term financial implications of the settlement agreement that you have. You want to avoid anything where perhaps you have assets that don't appreciate as quickly as assets of your ex-spouse. So an accountant can provide guidance and advice on these topics. So divorce is a complex process and it's emotionally draining. So having an accountant on your side can make a significant difference. They can provide valuable financial guidance and support, help navigate the division of assets, and help you create a plan for moving forward. It's important to remember that an accountant can provide objective advice and help ensure that your financial interests are protected during the divorce process. I want to thank you today for listening to the podcast. Should you have any questions, my contact information is in the description, and I'm just happy to help any way I can. And I want you to keep in mind that divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of the next great chapter. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Welcome to the Breaking Ties Destination Divorce Podcast. We will be talking about what is a certified divorce financial analyst and can they help during a divorce? And if so, what does that help look like? Divorce can be one of the most emotionally taxing, financially draining experience in a person's life. It really can. I know from experience. So there are many aspects to consider, such as child custody, property division, and financial settlements. In such situations, having a financial expert in your corner can make all the difference. This is where a certified divorce financial analyst comes into play. They're also known as CDFAs. CDFA professionals are trained to provide financial guidance and support throughout the divorce process. They can help individuals understand the financial implications of their divorce and make informed decisions regarding property and asset division. When you get down to all the decisions that you have to make, it's pretty important to make sure that they're right. So getting a good team surrounding you, feeding you good information is extremely important. First and foremost, a CDFA will work with their clients to identify all the assets, including those that may have been hidden by the other spouse. This includes assets such as bank accounts, investments, retirement accounts, real estate, and personal property. And once all the assets are identified, the CDFA can help their clients understand the value of each asset and determine how they should be divided for the purpose of settling up the property. In addition to assets, a CDFA will also review all the financial documents associated with the marriage, such as tax returns, bank statements, credit card statements. By analyzing the documents, the CDFA can identify any financial issues that need to be addressed during the process. Once again, keeping you informed. One of the key benefits of working with a CDFA is that they can help their clients also understand long-term financial implications of the divorce settlement. And the divorce settlement is pretty important because that's the kind of the end all be all. So if you don't get that actually, to your liking, it's just going to be settled the way it is, and that's it. Everybody moves on. So if a couple is, say, considering selling their home and dividing the proceeds, a CDFA can help them understand the tax implications. They can also help their clients understand how their settlement will impact their retirement savings, future income, and overall financial stability. So you want to make sure that each person in the marriage is taken care of as best as possible with the assets they have available. Another important aspect of a CDFA's role is helping clients develop a budget for life after divorce. So, the divorce happens and life goes on. So helping clients prepare and moving forward is a very important resource. So another important aspect of a CDFA's role is helping their clients develop a budget for life after divorce, because things just don't stop once the divorce is final. You've got to plan and prepare for your future. Identifying monthly expenses and sources of income, figuring out what, the bills are going to be. And by understanding their financial situation, clients can make informed decisions about their post-divorce lifestyle. Finally, a CDFA can also act as a financial expert during the divorce proceedings. And while many divorce cases don't actually go to court to be settled, they're mostly settled outside of court, you may need a financial expert to testify in court and provide expert opinions regarding financial matters. And this can be helpful in situations where the spouse is attempting to hide assets or otherwise acting in bad faith. They're just not disclosing everything that they should be. In conclusion, divorce, as we know, is a difficult process, and it can have a long-lasting financial impact. Working with a certified divorce financial analyst can help individuals navigate the complex financial aspects of their divorce and make informed decisions about their future. By understanding their financial situation and developing a plan for the future, clients can move forward with confidence and financial stability. When it comes down to it, the goal is just to put yourself in the best possible position after the divorce as you can. That's it for today's podcast. I would like to thank you for tuning in to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I hope you found the information helpful. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Until next time, take care. Hello, and welcome to the Breaking Ties Destination Divorce podcast, where we discuss important divorce issues affecting individuals and families going through the process. Now, today's topic that we're going to cover is spousal maintenance when getting divorced. Divorce is complicated, it's emotional, it can sometimes be even messy. And so we're going to want to make sure we have all our bases covered. And in many cases, one spouse may have been financially dependent on the other during the marriage. And in these situations, spousal maintenance, also known as alimony or spousal support, may be awarded to the lower income producing spouse. And it's not what I would consider to be a bad thing. It's just an opportunity for both spouses to have a similar standard of living as when they were married. Really, it's not great that one spouse would be living the high life and the other spouse would be struggling to get by. So spousal maintenance is set up to help balance out the financials between the two ex-spouses. And it's made by one spouse to another after the divorce is finished. And this can be set up on a regular basis, could be monthly, could be weekly. It's kind of up to you on how you would like to have it set up and negotiated. Now, there are different types of spousal maintenance, such as temporary maintenance, rehabilitative maintenance, and permanent maintenance. We're going to start with temporary maintenance. It's awarded during the divorce process to help the dependent spouse cover their expenses until the divorce is finalized. Now, usually once the divorce is finalized and there's more permanent maintenance, which is coming up, then we're going to switch to those numbers. Rehabilitative maintenance is awarded to help the dependent spouse become self-sufficient, such as enhancing their education or job training in a specific area. All skills that will help the individual for the long run. Permanent maintenance is awarded when the dependent spouse is unable to become self-sufficient due to age, health, or other factors. And when it comes to spousal maintenance, every state has kind of their own rules on lengths and stuff. Might be based on how long you were married, and then you figure it out from there. So it's not necessarily that you're going to get spousal maintenance for the rest of your life. So you want to be sure you speak with your attorney and figure out what's the best strategy for you. Now, the spousal maintenance is awarded, like I said, on various factors, and one was the length of marriage. And then the other one is really earning capacity of both spouses. The standard of living that they had during their marriage and the needs of the dependent spouse. It's important to note that spousal maintenance is not automatically awarded in every divorce case. It is only awarded when one spouse can demonstrate financial need and the other spouse has the ability to pay. And not only that, it can also be modified or terminated in certain situations, such as if the dependent spouse becomes self-sufficient, which would be fantastic, they're standing on their own, or if the paying spouse experiences a significant change in their financial circumstances. It could be a job loss. It could be something more serious related to health. Those will be grounds for modification. So one of the main factors in this whole process, though, is having a knowledgeable and experienced attorney guide you through the spousal maintenance process. He or she can help you understand your rights and obligations, negotiate a fair spousal maintenance agreement, and represent you in court if necessary. In conclusion here, spousal maintenance is an important issue to consider when getting divorced, particularly when one spouse is financially dependent on the other. It is a complex process, though, because there's a lot of factors that go into it. Length of marriage, standard of living, financial needs of both spouses. So seeking the guidance of an attorney can help ensure your spousal maintenance agreement is fair and just. I want to thank you for joining me today on the podcast. If you have any questions, my contact information is in the description. I'd be happy to help any way I can. Remember that divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of the next great chapter. And until next time, take care.
We want to thank you for listening to this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce with Mike Fulkerson. For questions, please reach out to Mike via email in the description or give him a shout at 630-444-1410. Remember to subscribe, like, and follow.